All right. Well, everyone, welcome to Off the Crypto Cuff. No, we're not financial advisors, not going to give financial advice, but anything's on the table, and welcome to our table where conversation is always open. Be kind in the comments. All right, let's get started.
What are you drinking there?
Oh, well, this is a weird one. I did 50-50 Whistle Pig and Diplomatico. So it's half whiskey, half rum.
Oh, okay. Is there a name for it? You just kind of brewed it yourself.
No, I just winged it.
Gotcha.
It's like trying to figure out what to do with that whistle.
Yeah. You don't. Well, it's good. I think because it's a rye, it's real good for old fashions. That's what a lot of guys seem to like with it. So.
Mm-hmm.
But now I got the Jefferson. Pretty good stuff.
Yep.
It's a very small batch blend of straight bourbon whiskey. So
Oh, nice.
got the Jefferson in the back.
Okay.
Or see through. You can see through. Yeah, there it goes.
Yep. Nice.
Yeah. They have a ocean one is really good. I guess the barrels are put in the bottom of the boat, and it
allows them to rock.
It rocks. It's really good, and I guess apparently they've tried to mimic that, like in a a building or whatever. Just have it like on a thing that's rocking it, and they said it's not the same.
I'd say not. The moisture content's going to be hard to, because you got the salt air. Now, there's going to be a lot of things a lot of variables that you can't reproduce.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I'm drinking.
Cheers. All right. Cheers.
So.
Yeah. Well, the top one that I've seen that's kind of hitting the news right now is apparently, what is it? Brad Garlinghouse is calling out Tether. The SEC is apparently going after Tether as the largest stablecoin. And along with that, apparently XRP is developing a stablecoin.
Oh, okay.
Well, of course, you always have the news about how XRP, or not XRP itself, because yes, it is a decentralized token and really doesn't have any involvement, but Ripple has big involvement with government. And there's no way to do a stablecoin without a stablecoin being centralized. So you have the other half of that conversation. It was like, well, everybody's trying to put out, all these governments are trying to put out a CBDC. And anybody paying attention knows that CBDCs are not good for freedom. So could there be any potential collaboration post SEC lawsuit, Ripple, government? It's like, okay, I'm putting my tinfoil hat just a little bit, but.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, well, we know Ripple's been trying to, like, even with with XRP, trying to not necessarily replace the banks, but work with them. That's what they, their whole. If you look at their board, they have a lot of interesting characters on their board. So,
well, I mean, having stable coins available on chain does provide a lot of local liquidity, and actually enables a lot of decentralized finance, and actually makes the market a lot more stable than it is. And I had to look this up, and Tether is 3 times larger than USDC, which is the next largest stablecoin. And the market caps go from 110 billion to 33 billion. So it's a huge leap between them. So if Tether is taken down a peg through regulatory means or what have you, that's going to be a huge hit to the market. So it could be, a black swan event that, hits. If things still go onto my track and my schedule, I'm still thinking that we're going to have our first market top somewhere between the June to August timeframe. And then, of course, we're in election season, and typically you have your October surprise. You can end up with these snowball effects of black swans. Tether getting hit hard and taken out could cut, the crypto market, bring it down. It languages for a year, which is also on my schedule because I'm taking a look at it, the historic of what it did in the past. And then there will be a second top next year. So, So what'd you find?
We'll see. Well, yeah, they were talking. Well, we saw that Bitcoin dropped down pretty good. It's 57 below, fell under 57, I guess. They're saying how inflation might be part of that. People, the fear of inflation right now.
Well,
but that's over the entire, all markets.
Well, yeah, it's like we were discussing this. Is you had these competing things because with higher inflation, more money chasing the same goods is just like, and Bitcoin's really limited. But on my chart, I did actually put on trend lines, between what I would consider resistance. And I did this weeks ago, I forgot about it.
Yeah.
And it is in between my two lines of where I found support and resistance.
Okay.
And it's just bouncing between them. So it is in a consolidation in a consolidation channel.
Yeah.
It is below its 100%. Of course, it's below its previous all-time highs, below the current one, obviously. But it has not come back down to, what is that, the 78.6 on the Fibonacci.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's just sitting in this consolidation. And in the news, a lot of the big mining firms are starting to feel the pinch of the reduced rewards. So basically, you're going to end up with this supply on this channel coming across, inflation going up. Plus, you have the supply crunch that's going to end up happening because, on a lot of these miners, they're taking a huge pay cut. They got to pay their power bills.
Right.
So it's either diamond hands or go out of business consolidation. And, in these cycles prior, there was a lot of consolidations that happened with the miner companies because a lot of them went bankrupt.
Yeah.
So similar things are going to, and so once we start seeing these things hit the news, could be in the next month or two. Again, this is just May, June, July, August, right? So that's where the tops are, somewhere in those 3 months.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right. So, is it going to happen that way?
The crystal ball, we wouldn't be here right now.
Huh?
So we had the crystal ball, we wouldn't be here right now.
That is a true statement. That is a very true statement.
Yeah. Well, the big thing I was looking at though, I caught my eye was that I guess Stripe, PayPal, among the payment giants embracing stable coins. So they're embracing crypto. That's the way I look at it. If they're embracing stable coins.
Mm-hmm.
Cuts. So basically, one of the lines says, as crypto continues to be embraced globally for its potential to speed up transaction settlement times and cut costs, the stablecoin wars, as one outlet put it, are rapidly heating up.
Well,
So, I mean, that's the kind of stuff we want to see, right? Because we want to see the big names embracing crypto, which will help the market overall.
Well, the thing is that, and here comes the big issue with that, and you actually kind of mentioned this, is the competition with the existing system.
Mm-hmm.
The largest part of the existing system is the SWIFT interconnect between the banks, and now people could actually cut out everything and just send money pretty much anywhere in the world nearly instantly. And they're going to be fighting back hard. Especially SWIFT.
Yeah, we'll talk. Stripe says Stripe plans to process stablecoin payments on Ethereum, Polygon, and Solana.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is, what is and educate me just a little bit. Is swipe like Square?
Stripe.
What do they do exactly?
I actually.
Or are they more the commercial side, like what you would go to like a gas station for?
No, Stripe, like as in STRIP.
No, I understand that. I'm talking.
Okay. They're just a payment platform, just like.
Okay, a payment platform. So basically, like e-commerce.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like PayPal, like
right.
allows you to move money.
Okay.
Looks like they have Amazon, Salesforce, Google, Shopify, WhatsApp, like BMW, Marriott, some of their affiliations.
Well, it just would make it depends on what they're actually doing integration side. You can make payments faster without normies knowing exactly how the payment's going through. It just is now faster and settles quicker.
Right. It's back end. Yeah. I mean, they want to, that's what they say, accept and optimize payments globally. So they want to move money quickly.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, it makes sense.
No faster way to do that.
Yeah. Right. Not by the banks.
Oh no. It's like, well, I mean, you could wire money overseas, give us a week or two. It'll get there.
Looks like there's a subscription service though.
That's what I was thinking is like, because I think a lot of these like payment systems, they're subscription based, and that's why you end up with these additional fees,
Yeah. Yeah. They have a whole suite, looks like. Yeah. Invoicing, billing.
Yeah.
Yeah. On top of,
But it basically gives on a lot of e-commerce pages now the easy button. You just subscribe to a payment service. So they handle the back end of the payment piece and they ensure that you get paid.
It's sort of like using a credit card company, using
exactly
the credit card machines.
Mm-hmm.
Just different. This is over internet, not a physical machine.
Yep. So
that's good. I mean, that's kind of stuff I like to see, that kind of news, because then the adoption brings people's interest.
Anything that makes it easier for regular people is what I find interesting.
Yeah.
I actually was watching a podcast recently, and this was on Algorand's channel, and they were interviewing a guy that actually is developing or integrating AI with crypto, but the way he's doing it's really interesting. I was just like, it kind of blew my mind a little bit. I'm like, this is neat. And the fun part is that he's starting on Ethereum, which is one of the largest blockchains. So he's not even starting it on Algorand, but he's actually promising to bring the technology over. And what they're actually doing is they're trying to come up with, they're doing basically open source models. The software is open source. There was like no pre-mine. They have no involvement. There's no foundation, right? So there's literally nobody to sue.
Okay.
Right. That's starting off with the fun part.
Yeah.
And what they're trying to come up with is basically personal AI for crypto wallets.
To do what?
So basically, it was to make doing transactions easy. So in other words, that way, as somebody that is not technology savvy, say, I want to send money to X, or I want to invest in Y. So basically, they're specifying their intent, not how to satisfy that intent.
I see. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, it's kind of like crypto for dummies.
Exactly.
It's like, it's the easy button, right? It's the
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's funny. Okay, that's cool. I mean, why not? Right? You're kind of like trying to. There's a opportunity there. He found a way to develop something that can make it easier for people, and then also potentially make money down the road. So it's interesting.
So and here was one, and I thought of you when I was reading the headline, but it's paywall because it's a Bloomberg article. But Crypto.com wants to sponsor more sports after Formula One Miami.
Oh yeah. Well, you're talking about for like commercials and stuff.
I don't know if they had a car wrapped or something like that for the race, but the Digital Asset Exchange says sports deals raise its visibility. Crypto firms have sponsorships with various F1 racing teams. So I guess patches, car wraps, those sorts of things.
Yeah. I gotcha. Yeah, I mean that's you see. This with Super Bowl, we saw a lot of crypto commercials for different exchanges and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember so Tom Brady, he he was on the commercial for one of those. Let's see, real quick.
Is that FTX? Because they like had everybody.
I think it was FTX because I was watching the Tom. Yeah, it was FTX. I was watching the Tom Brady roast where they roasted him. It was. I've only watched about half of it, but it's pretty bad. But I mean, but like funny, but not funny. Like I don't know, it's raunchy. But anyhow, they talked about him in the roast him about that. He's like, yeah, Tom Brady, you know, thanks for helping us out with FTX or something like that. It was like, because
Yeah.
But I think a lot of them were just on board because they were getting paid a lot of money to sponsor.
It's just like there's a lot of people that just don't know, and there's just like, oh, you're going to pay me money to do this? Okay,
exactly. Yeah, it's probably their publicist or whoever managing person.
Mm-hmm.
They probably said, "Hey, this is good. We can make $10 million here. Just do this commercial, whatever." So
that wouldn't surprise me none.
Yeah. That was kind of funny. Hopefully we don't see that again. That's all.
It's kind of to circle back just a little bit, but that's one of the things that Brad Garlinghouse was bringing up with Tether being the next SEC or government target, was just like, well, the big ones you had last cycle was FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried, and then CZ, and one's in jail and the other one's heading in that direction.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, and he's like, well, who's next?
Well, these are things that I feel like have been going on for a little while though too. It's not
and I'm kind of surprised with Brad, especially after everything he's been through. Why is he spreading FUD so much? And it's like, come on, I mean, simmer down and try to support the rest of the community instead of trying to bring people down.
Right. Well, I think it sounds to me like the argument is like, hey, we're trying to do it right. These people are doing it wrong. See what happened because they did it wrong. Meanwhile, I've been trying to do it right the whole time. Maybe that's what he's trying to,
Yeah,
you shouldn't knock people's knees out while they're already down. But I'm not a fan of that. People try to voice themselves by knocking other people down.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't read it, but I'm hearing from you, so I have to read it, see the interpretation.
Yeah, no, I listened to a little bit of an interview, and there's a couple articles out there, kind of quoting the interview a little bit, and he was kind about it, I guess, but it was kind of good, more or less, I guess, trying to promote more of the, what Ripple is doing, and I guess there's FUD surrounding Ripple right now because they're trying to onboard companies into the Ripple ledger outside of XRP, and it's got some XRP investors scared that Ripple's abandoning XRP, and he's like, no, this is like people are reading the room wrong. It's like we're still 1,000% in XRP. So there's just a lot going on.
Yeah.
So we don't know until we actually do.
Yeah, exactly. How a lot of things work these days.
Well, we're not Nancy Pelosi.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else. That was across my plate this week or last couple weeks.
Yeah, there's just a lot of like downer news talking about, it's like Hong Kong Bitcoin and ETF see outflows. It's like, yeah, I know people are selling.
Yeah.
Cool your heels.
It's kind of like you got to have the lull before the spike, and that's what happens. Mm-hmm. It drops, people start, moving money, and things are happening because of that, and then it spikes. So
one thing that, it still boggles my mind is how, when it comes to crypto, how is the freest country in the world still less free than some of these other countries? It's like, even like Hong Kong, their ETFs are in-kind ETFs.
Mhm.
That means when you cash out, you can have the option to either cash out in Bitcoin or ETH, basically the crypto that is the ETF, or cash. Here in the United States, when it's a BlackRock ETF, BlackRock owns the Bitcoin. So when you cash out, your only option is to collect USD. They cannot give you the Bitcoin by law.
Well,
it's like
yeah. Well, not only that, we're like there's several other countries that are adopting it as a currency. So it's, that's.
and it's just like, I understand the early adopters, like El Salvador. They didn't have their own. They really didn't. I don't think they had their own central bank. They didn't have their own currency. They were actually using US dollar.
Right.
So when our inflation hits, it's like 1,000 times worse in countries like that.
Yeah.
So by them just saying, well, okay, Bitcoin's now legal tender, that's just an instant win that actually only has positive effects because they have nothing to unroll.
True.
Yeah. It is awesome though. There's a lot of things that I could wish for, but as the saying goes, wish in one hand, shit in the other, and see which one fills up first.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like the news has been kind of slowish.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a storm of brewing, especially looking. I'm not an expert on technical analysis by any means, but looking where these candle bodies are, I mean, it's just in a very tight consolidation. Like even my Algorand mapping is just like it's in this weird triangle right now. Like because I thought I was going to follow this, and then this angled line was going to be, a carried, floor going up, but it fell below it, and I found basically a support level, and now it's actually tracking inside between that support and the angle going up.
Yeah.
So don't know what all of it means.
Going back to what we were kind of talking about earlier with the like PayPal and these people adopting the stablecoin as a form of payment, with their payment applications. That's also, to me, feeds into utility of like showing that the utility of what these coins can do. Where it's like because we talked about that, like eventually we feel like crypto is going to come down to what's the utility, can it actually do something, and how well does it do it to give it value. Where right now it's kind of like, yeah, there's utility, but does it do it well? There's nobody's really adopting it. There's it's a lot of hearsay of what and what they believe it can do and stuff with but
And that's where a lot of it comes down to people, because they say these is like you have the wisdom of the crowds. Well, you also have the stupidity of the crowds.
right.
And so you do have to make the technology simple enough where the average person can understand it. And because there's been a lot of like awesome technologies that just did not get adopted because people didn't understand it. So if you don't actually end up with the mass adoption from underneath the actual market where the bulk of the customers are, and that's where it just has to get easy enough understood. You can be like, you can cry from the rooftops, this is the best thing in the world, but if other people if it doesn't click for people. And then it comes the other half of it is, it's like you've got the news constantly with the FUD. You've got the federal government coming down saying, well, only criminals and terrorists use it. It's just like and which scares a lot of normies out from getting into the market and actually trying to understand what it is, because it's like, well, I don't want to be involved in a criminal activity when they're not. So it's just like, so there's a lot of things to how do you break through that noise that's coming through, these authority figures.
Yeah.
Because I could almost guarantee you is it's like once, government's done enough of accumulation, or the CBDC finally rolls out and then they've normalized the CBDC, then it's going to be like, okay, all that stuff that we said about crypto, we're not going to say it was a lie, but crypto's okay now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
we know this. Yeah.
Right, exactly. The script is just going to turn almost on a dime.
Yeah, we've talked about this multiple times. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how do you break that noise before those events can happen?
Well, we don't. We just keep continuing to accumulate ourselves.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
No.
That is a very true statement.
Yeah. Just kind of see through it. Try to see through it.
Mm-hmm.
I know somebody gets a little caught up sometimes in the FOMO, but
who would that be?
Not pointing any fingers.
Well, I did do a little stupid this week, just nothing horrendously stupid.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, I mean, it's like I do watch Vestige. It's an awesome tool for discovering new tokens on Algorand. A new one popped up called Farm. I checked out the site. A cursory glance. I didn't put a lot into it. I just like 100 algo. Got a couple thousand tokens. Created basically liquidity pool, and it got rugged. Yeah.
It
was not a lot of algo.
Right. Well, it's part of the gamble.
It's part of the gamble. I was like, it's like sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And of course, the Coin Bureau actually mentioned this, is that one of the biggest things that is still kind of hitting, because it's where the normies are, because the normies actually do not care about utility today. You could hammer about utility, they still don't care. The biggest thing to watch for is the meme coins. And that's still unfortunate, because you don't know which ones are going to pop. You don't know when they're going to pop. But that's where the normies, that's where they are, because that's where, the doom scroller on their Facebook, Instagram, that's where these people are. They're just watching the memes.
Right. Well, yeah, they're reactive buyers.
Yep. So I saw this, or did it kill out? Okay. It went away. It's no longer trending. Okay. Well, there was one that actually had a hilarious name that is almost PG-13. It's a mascot. It's a rooster, but it's using the other colloquial term for it. Yep. And so I was like, I got to find out what this is about. So I, went on it, took a look at this chart, and the thing was just climbing on the 4 hour. And then it just like started. You took a look at the site. It was actually pretty well done. I'm like, this is funny, and if you actually got in at the bottom, you would have doubled or tripled, what you put in.
Invested. Yeah.
I
know we saw that, 6 years ago, and things are just, that's the meme coins, right? The meme.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
you
get lucky if you find the right one at the right time, but it's just, knowing when to jump in, when to jump out, which one's going to do that.
That's the hard part. Is it's like, and which ones are the straight up scams, or just going to get rugged?
That's the AI somebody needs to build that can scrape the social medias and listen for certain key terms with crypto. Just listen for crypto, and then listen for like which ones they're talking about, and let somehow like, hey, this one's like getting some heat behind it. you know, because that's really where it boils down to, is it's on the social media where it gets started, and then people start buying into it, then the word spreads, and it just, you know, builds from there. That's the AI somebody needs to build. Because there's no, it's almost impossible unless you happen to be on, that's all you do is just peruse the channels that most people are on and listen to what, you know, see what people are saying.
Yeah, because that's your Reddit, your X, and you know, it's like,
yeah, a lot.
Well, speaking of which, guess what just hit the news again? GameStop.
Oh, really?
It's up 40% right now.
Wow. 400? 40. Okay.
Not.
I was like, what? 400? That's like,
well, I mean, it went what 100, 120% last time.
I don't know.
But apparently,
there's a movie. Did you see the movie?
Yeah. I have not seen the movie. I was like,
it's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's worth a watch.
Yeah, it's got what, Seth Rogen in it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Was he in it? I can't remember. The main character, like, you'll recognize him. I can't think who he is, but he's the cat guy, whatever his name was. Was the one that kind of got things started on social media. Everybody following him.
Yeah, and well, he's back on social media, and apparently the short sellers were going back after GameStop. So,
okay.
Yep, the same story.
He doesn't like that.
Nope. Well, I mean, it is there any reason to short them? You know, and it's a huge gamble, because the thing is that once you start shorting, especially if you have enough money, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's just as this big, you know, or bigger firm, you know, pushing down a little person, you know. And that's all
the thing that with Robinhood came out, you know, how they shut down trading, because that was part of the movie too. It was interesting.
Yeah, they actually deliberately slow trading because the extreme volatility. No, I mean, and that just also happened. I was like listening to this, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It was like,
the whole thing was they couldn't cover the what was being traded because of the way they were trading.
Well, I mean, that's the gamble. This is like, you know, once you sell short, you are gambling. I mean, straight up. It's like, if it's a $50 stock, if it goes to zero, you lose $50. But if you short it, you're borrowing a stock, and then you're immediately selling it for its asking price. And if it's a $50 stock, you now have to at least buy a $50 stock to pay back the stock you borrowed. But you're gambling that it goes down to 20. So when you buy it back at 20 to give back what you borrowed, okay, you made a $30 delta. Well, multiply that out by the millions of dollars that they're saying, you know, doing this at. But if it goes from $50 to $100, now you have to buy the stock, because you don't owe money, you owe back the stock.
Right.
So you have to buy at market rate.
Yep.
I mean, you could bury yourself doing this. It is dangerous. You know, hey, as long as the taxpayer doesn't have to bail these idiots out, it's like, okay, let them fail. I don't care.
Right. Yeah, that's the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I'm looks like you're finished. I'm done.
One drink.
Yeah.
Try to nurse it as much as possible. Well, or more than. All righty.
All right. Well, I guess we'll sign off.
All right. Until next time.
Until next time.